What we do here is go back.
Gentlemen, welcome to historic Larks Park and Hayes Larks Baseball. Tonight's non-league contest features from the Kansas Collegiate League Baseball, the Kansas Cannons from Augusta, Kansas, and your Hayes Larks. The Cannons ended tonight's game at 9-5 overall in the season, while the Larks are 12-2 in the season, 8-1 in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. Free admission for tonight's game has been made possible through the generous sponsorship of Astra Bank, the Hilton Garden Inn and Convention Center, and the Bricks Rockin' Barbecue in downtown Hayes. We greatly appreciate these generous folks and their support of Hayes Larks Baseball. And now let's meet tonight's starters for your Hayes Larks.
Yeah, baby!
Leading off and playing second base from the University of Texas at Arlington, number 2, Tanner Rice. Second, the shortstop from the University of Tennessee, number 3, Austin Jaslov. Third, the center fielder from Hutchinson Community College, number 1, Jack Terosian. Fourth for the Larks from Houston Baptist University, the first baseman, number 26, Tyler LaRue. And catching from Seminole State College, number 5, Jackson Halter. The left fielder from the University of Texas at Arlington, number 6, Hunter Rawson. Seventh for the Larks, tonight's 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter from the University of Oklahoma, the right fielder, number 23, Raiden Lucart. Playing third base from Arizona Western College, number 4, Ben Fiorenzi. Ninth for the Larks, a designated hitter from East Tennessee State, number 8, Leo Jimenez. Tonight taking the pitching side for the Larks, 0-0 on the season from Grand Canyon University, number 29, Austin Hewitt. His 40th season with the Larks, please welcome the head coach, Mr. Frank Leo. Coach is Keith Hyper. Assistant coach is Andy Luton. First pitches, please welcome Audrey Kennedy, Calvin Purdy, and Pete Waldschmidt. Daughter of Market President Jason Kennedy, please welcome Audrey Kennedy. Representing the Hilton Garden Inn, please welcome Calvin Purdy. There's a toss. And representing the Bricks Rockin' Barbecue in downtown Hayes, please welcome Pete Waldschmidt.
Down at the ballpark, where I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. All of my friends are gonna be there too. Nothing in the world I'd rather do than grab a hot dog burger and a cold beer. You'll hear me yelling out a big cheer, 'cause whether they win or whether they lose, I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! Larks. I can't wait to see a home run. I know for sure there's gonna be one. I'll call out the players by their first name. Sure am glad I made it to the game. Rain or shine, I'm gonna be there. If the stands are full, I'll bring a lawn chair. So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks!
Happy Tuesday and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Larks Park and Larks Baseball. Game 1 of 1 against the Kansas Cannons here in Hayes. Larks will take on Liberal tomorrow, but we'll see the Cannons later in the season. Hayes comes in this game 12-2 on the season, looking for their 9th straight victory. On the mound tonight for Hayes, getting the start is Austin Pewitt, the Palmdale, California native. 6'5" freshman from Grand Canyon University. 2 balls, no strikes. It's leadoff hitter Drake Angeron. If you're a Larks fan of a few years, that name should sound familiar to you. Angeron played for the Larks in 2019, was our leadoff guy. At the time, he went to Dodge City Community College. Then he transferred to Fort Hays after a couple of years with the Conquistadors, and now is playing for New Orleans. The Morgan City, Louisiana native has a 3-0 count against his former team. So he's familiar with this park, played here for the Larks, and then the Tigers share this field with us, so no stranger to Schumacher Nelson Field, and he will walk on 4 pitches against Austin Pewitt. Pewitt's 8th walk of the season through 6 innings. Pewitt's outing was a little bit rockier than what he wanted. He appeared on Sunday against the Rough Riders, and not just this Sunday, but last Sunday. He threw 3 innings in the starts. Didn't allow a hit, but he walked 5 guys and had 3 wild pitches. 3 runs scored, but 1 of them was only earned. So his ERA is at 3 flats. 5 straight balls from Pewitt to starts out the game. 1-0 count to Cade York, the shortstop, batting 2 in the order. 1-0 misses outside. 6 balls, no strikes for Pewitt getting started. Pewitt has thrown strikes on at just 50% of his pitches flat. So half of his balls find their way into the strike zone, half of them miss. So far, he's 0 for 6 tonight. There you go, first strike. 2-1 count to York. This is Pewitt's 4th appearance on the mound, his 2nd start, back-to-back starts for him. He struck out 5, giving up just 2 hits, 2 earned runs, and has held his opponents to a 111 batting average. Wild pitch, he rolls to the backstop. Angeron rolls into second base. Thank you for tuning in tonight for some Larks baseball. This is Carson Ackerman, the voice of the Larks on the comb, right here on Larks Network. The Cannons come to this game 9-5 overall. They're 8-2 in KCOB play. They're riding a league 8-game winning streak. The Larks are 8-1 in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. They are first in the league, a half game up over Liberal. Back-to-back walks for Austin Pewitt. This one on 5 pitches to get the game started. Runners on first and seconds. Robert Sherrar to the box, and Keith Harper to the mound to have a chat with his righty. So after back-to-back walks, Pewitt will have to settle down and get some outs here in the top half of the first inning. It's Robert Sherrar at the box. Hits lefty out of Colorado Mesa. He's a Newbury Park, California native. So 2 Cali natives squaring off right now. 1-0 count to the left fielder batting 3rd in the order. Pewitt delivers, gets a called strike over the outside corner. Nice pitch for the GCU Antelope. No appearances this year at Grand Canyon for Pewitt. He has a ton of velocity on his pitches, just needs to locate them. 1-1, ground ball to the second base. Rice, the throw to Jaslov at second. Or covering second in time, but Jaslov's throw to first will not be in time. Sherrar reaches on a fielder's choice. So Pewitt got what he wanted. He got a ground ball to the middle infield. Larks just aren't able to turn the double play. Angeron moves up to third base. Sherrar at first. Angeron at third. For the cleanup hitter, Zach Davis, the DH. Davis out of Northeast Oklahoma A&M. He's a Denton, Texas native. Halter, tonight's backstop, blocks this one, 1-0 counts. Davis hitting .412 this season, and KCOB play, they don't have stats available for never mind, they do have stats available for non-games. He's played in 8, so 14 hits through 34 at-bats. 2-1 counts as Pewitt finds his own on this one. Larks were in the KCOB in 2019. They won the league tournament. They have just been winning ever since. They won the JUC League in 2018, then won the KCOB tournament in 2019. Won the Rocky Mountain Baseball League in 2020 and 2021. They're looking for another title here in 2022, and they're in first place in the league. Tomorrow's game and Thursday game, a couple of big games right there against the Liberal BJs, who are only a half game back from the Larks. BJs were in the KCLB with the Larks and the Kansas Cannons in 2019. 3-1 Pewitt will go from the stretch. Halter sets up down the middle, and it is going to miss Halter's glove and hit the backstop. Angeron scores from third base. 3 out of the 4 batters have walked. Every batter has reached here in the top half of the first inning. 1 away. Runners on first and second as the Cannons lead 1-0. Angeron scored a bunch for the Larks in 2019, scored 46 runs over the course of the summer for the Hayes Larks. 1 away, 2 on for Rocco Gump, the third baseman, batting 5th in the order, as Pewitt misses outside again. Sherrar at second, and Davis at first. 2-0. Pewitt visibly frustrated on the mound. He's now thrown 18 pitches. Just 5 of them have found their way into the zone. He's also thrown 2 wild pitches. Larks do have a righty up in the pen. Pewitt misses a bunt. The letter's 3-0. Pewitt needs to hit the zone here. Can't walk, batter number 4 of the inning. He's now walked 10 this season through 6 1/3. Gets a called strike. Taking all the way was Gump, and all of a hitter's count 3-1 with 1 away in the first. Pitch number 5 of the AB. Swung on, chopped to Rice at second base. Waits on it. Jaslov will field it at second base, covering from shortstop, but decides not to throw it to first. It wasn't going to be in time anyway. Why risk an error? Gump reaches on a fielder's choice and scores. Not scores Sherrar. Sherrar moves to third. Davis out. So we'll have runners on the corners with 2 away. Larks almost had another inning-ending double play. They've had quite a few of those this season, but don't get it there. Ground ball to the right side. Rice isn't going to get to it. It's going to be an RBI single for Gabe Ramos. Sherrar scores. It's a 2-0 ball game. There is a righty, like I said, up in the pen for Hayes, but Hayes doesn't want to use too many arms. We got a big couple of games against Liberal, and we're going to need really all we got to put ourselves in the best chance to win against a talented Liberal roster. Pewitt misses low here. 1 ball, no strikes. Pewitt's last outing was against the Rough Riders. Like I said, he's pitched against the Collegians and against the Great Bend Batcats. This is his second appearance at Larks Park, and he gets a called strike over the inside part of the plate, 1-1. His first outing was against Great Bend in the season opener. He threw an inning of relief, allowed 1 hit, 1 earned run, walking 2. After that, he pitched against the Collegians, threw 2 innings in relief, gave up a hit, struck out 4, no runs, his only outing with no runs so far this season. 2 balls, 1 strike to Cale Blasey, the right fielder, batting 7th in the order. Checks his swing, doesn't go around, 3-1 again. Do believe that is Sam Hendon in the pen for Hayes. Walk number 4 of the inning for Austin Pewitt, and it loads the bases. Gump to third, Ramos to second. Lazy will head to first, and Keith Harper will come out of the dugout and have a chat with Pewitt and bring in Sam Hendon from the pen. Hewitt throws 2/3 of the first inning and hands the rock over to Sam Hendon. Hendon throws an off-speed, gets a ground ball to LaRue, throws one pitch, goes to LaRue, LaRue throws to Hendon, and he will get out number 3. Does exactly what the Larks brought him in to do and gets Mason Ray out on one pitch. Cannons leave the bases loaded, but they do score 2 and bring 8 to the plate in the top of the first. Bottom half we go here in Hayes. Hayes looking to score and get back in the game. Sun's peeking out from behind some clouds here at Larks Park as the rain has stopped in Hayes. Tanner Rice will lead things off in the bottom of the first for the Larks. Has been very consistent for Hayes at the top spot in the order. Takes a called strike here, and we'll go down the count 0-1. David Dressendorfer on the mound for the Kansas Cannons. He's a southpaw out of Angelo State. Larks have had a few guys from Angelo State over the years. In 2019, there was Justin Lee, who was our starter in left field next to the guy who's getting the start in center field tonight for the Cannons, Drake Angeron. He went to Cochise and then transferred to Angelo State. And then in 2020, Larks had Landon Shire out of Angelo State as well. It's previously had George Fox. 2 balls and a strike here to lead off second baseman from the University of Texas, Arlington. Takes one to right field. That one's well struck. And a leap from Blaze. He's not going to bring it in. Tanner Rice is going to have extra bases to get things going for the Larks' bottom batting order. So it'll take us to Austin Jaslov after Rice's double. Rice just put his hitting streak at one game, had it snapped a little bit ago, but is back to the hit column today. That is double number 6 this year for number 2. And is second on the team behind Dylan Dreiling, and also tied with Tyler LaRue. It's delivered to Jazz Love above the letters. 1 ball, no strike to the Tennessee Volunteer. Terosian on deck with LaRue in the hole for Hayes. Each team with a hit, but the story of the first inning was walks. Hayes gave up 4 of those and allowed just that 1 hit. Foul ball from Jaslov pops into the grandstand. Count goes to 1-1. Jaslov this year hitting .408. He's racked up 6 extra base hits. One home, goes into the left-hander's batter's box and high. 2-1 count to tonight's shortstop. Jaslov is one of a handful of guys with a OPS of 1,000 plus. Great numbers so far to start the season from the shortstop. Thinks about turning on this one, holds it back, and it misses inside. 3-1 count. Jaslov went 2 of 5 in the Larks' last game, scored a run and drove 1 in. That was in the 12-1 win against the Denver Cougars. Jaslov strikes this one well to left field. It's going to drop, and Rice knew it, but will still be held up at third base as Sherrard throws one home. Back-to-back hits for the Larks, a single and a double, and the Larks will have a runner in scoring position to get things going in the bottom of the third. Still nobody out. Rice at third, Jaslov at first. Jaslov just put his hitting streak at 5 games. So we go to Jack Terosian, the center fielder, batting third in the order. Larks have won 8 straight. They've won 11 of their last 12. And they have run ruled 4 straight games. So kind of uncharted territory to be down so early in the game. But the Larks will look to respond. They've had a comeback already this season. And 2 runs really hasn't meant that much to a team that's put up double digits pretty much every game. Their last 7 games, they've scored double digits. Two balls, no strikes, the center fielder from Omaha, Nebraska. Dressendorfer gets set, goes from the stretch. This one will catch the letters, 2-1. Dressendorfer this season, he's 2-0 on the mound. This is appearance number 6 for him. His first start of the season. It's a swing and a miss from Terosian. He struck out 9 through 6 2/3, allowed 2 walks, 6 hits. 4 runs have scored on him, but only one of them was earned, so he has an ERA at 1.35. Check over at Jaslov, who had the second hit of the inning. He's back in safely. Southpaw delivers and gets strikeouts number 10 of the season through 7 innings, with the first out of the first inning. And Terosian will head back to the dugout and bring up Tyler LaRue, and a double play could end the inning. LaRue, however, has been one of the, if not the hottest bats in all of Kansas as of late. Sends one off the end of his bat to the backstop, 0-1. Through 12 games, LaRue's driven in 20 runs. That's a 3-way tie for the team lead with Dreiling and Hutchison. Off-speed hangs in the air, 1 ball and a strike. LaRue, in the Larks' last game, on Sunday after having Monday off. Went 2 for 3 with an RBI, a walk, and he scored 2 different times. 1-1 home. He hits it hard to left field. It's going to drop. Jaslov rounds second, heads to third. Sherrar has some trouble with it, and it's going to be extra bases. 2 doubles in the inning for the Larks. Jaslov to third, and Rice cuts the deficit in half, scoring from third. And with that hit, LaRue puts his hitting streak at 12 games now. Nobody even has half of that. Actually, Terosian has half of that at 7. But third on the team with the longest hitting streak is Jaslov, who has 5 at third base. So, like I said, LaRue is a tough out and has been on fire. Shows it right there. Puts 2 in scoring position with 1 away and drives in a run. He's dancing around at second. Nobody there to hold him on, so he can get a big lead. Called strike 1 here to Halter, the 5-hole catcher out of Seminole State. Halter batting .333 this season through 8 games, now 9. He's driven in 11 off of 8 hits. Takes this one foul. 0-2 to the catcher. Larks will head to Liberal tomorrow, take on the BJs for game 1 of 2 in Liberal against them, so be sure to catch those games on Larks Network. They'll have Friday off and then start a 3-game series against the Dodge City A's on Saturday. Time called here. Dressendorfer from Round Rock, Texas. Did not play this year at ASU. And misses outside 1-2 to Halter. Angelos did a D2 school in the Lone Star State and the Lone Star Conference as well. He delivers home and will get called strike 3. Halter unhappy with the call, but can't argue as he's the catcher and is going to want those calls when he's behind the dish. Strikeout number 2 of the inning for Dressendorfer. 2 away, 2 on for Hunter Rawson. Getting a start in left field today. Braden Lukart waits on deck. Ben Ferenzi in the hole for Hayes. This one will miss low to Rawson. 1 ball, no strikes. Jaslov at third, LaRue at second with first base open for the Larks. Wind moving from left to right across the field at a pretty decent pace. And Rawson sends this one high up into the wind. Head drifts in the left field. York drifts back. Gets called off by Sherrar, who makes the catch on the run. Larks get a run back off of 2 doubles and a single, but leave 2 on and take a 1-run deficit to the second inning here in Hayes. Top half of the second, Sam Hendon returns, and laying down a bunt is Hargraves. It rolls to third base. Ferenzi tries to barehand it and won't make a play on it. It's a leadoff infield single for Hargraves, who is the lone cannon to not reach the box in inning number 1, and it takes us to the top of the order in the top of the second. Drake Angeron. Angeron batted .353 for the Larks in 2019. Picked up 55 hits. Drove in 25, walked 27 times, and stole 26 bases. Shakes his head at one that misses outside, 1-0. Hendon delivers, gets an ugly swing and a miss out of Angeron. 1 ball and a strike. Hendon, the second pitcher of the game for the Larks. Pewitt threw two-thirds of an inning, throwing 28 pitches. Only 8 of them were strikes. Allowed a hit, 2 earned runs, and gave up 4 walks. Hendon checks over at Hargraves, who slides in head first safely. That bunt single, the second hit of the game for the Kansas Cannons. Cannons are a half game up in the KCLB standings ahead of the Kansas Curve. They're in first place just like the Larks. Hendon misses outside, 2 balls and a strike. Hendon, a freshman out of Alexander City, Alabama, goes to Central Alabama with Larks pitcher Cade Hare. 2-1 Hendon, first to go from the stretch, but we'll check over at first. He's not in time. Appearance number 5 this season for Hendon. All in relief. He's thrown 8 1/3, giving up 7 hits and striking out 10. Gets a pop fly into center field. Terosium moves in, loses his hat, but makes the catch for out number 1. Lucart will help him out with the hats, and Angeron will now be 0 for 1 on the day. Takes us to Cade York, who walked in the first inning. Hendon keeping an eye on Hargraves. 1 away, runner on first in the top half of the second inning. It's the 2-hole in the order, the shortstop York. Called strike 1. York, a Gold Canyon, Arizona native, going up against the Alabama native. Down the count, no balls and a strike. Nice pitch from Hendon, gets called strike 2. York has a chat with the umpire, thought it was too low, but will have to be protecting the plate now with 2 strikes on him in the second. Hargraves at first base, doesn't take off as the 0-2 misses low, 1-2. Larks faced off against the Cannons here at Larks Park last year on the 16th of June. Won 8-7 on a Grant Schmidt walk-off home run to left field. Trowling had 2 hits in the game. Luke Terbeek threw 2 innings, striking out 3. Cade Brown came in for the 9th inning, threw an inning, striking out 2, and then picked up the win. And then 2 teams met up not quite a month later on July 6th. Larks won 15-11. With a Brady Evans home run, and Evans scored 4 runs in that game. Evans out of the order tonight. Evans has been out of the order quite a bit this season after playing in quite a bit of games last year. And just kind of a weird situation. Evans a very talented catcher. But we got 3 talented catchers on the roster, Halter and LaRue. But Evans has played the least least amount of games out of the 3. Line drive goes between Ferenzi and Jaslov, and it'll be a 1-out base hit for Cade York, reaching for the second time today. Hargraves to second, the second single of the inning. Defensively for Hayes, from left to right in the outfield, Rawson, Tarosi, and Lukart. It's Ben Ferenzi in the hot corner. Jaslov at short. Tanner Rice at second. LaRue at first, with Jackson Halter behind the plate, and Sam Hendon is on the mound for the Larks. Fly ball goes into center field. Tarosian will drift back, record the catch, but tagging up is Hargraves. He will be moving up to third base, and without much contest. Two away as Shirar is out number 2 of the inning. We go to Zach Davis, the DH who walked in the first and then was out on the fielder's choice. Larks have won 4 straight over the past 4 years against the Cannons. 2-0 last year, 1-0 at Larks Park. Didn't see each other in 2020. And then in 2019, won 13-1 in Augusta, and then 12-0 the next day on June 10th, run ruling the Cannons. 1-0 count here to Zach Davis. Defense straight up. Hunter Rawson playing way back in left field. Runner takes off from first. Halter focuses on the frame and not the runner, and gets it for a called strike. Two in scoring position with 1 out or 2 outs in the second. 2-1 Cannons. This delivery home will miss the zone for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike here to the DH cleanup hitter. Davis out of Denton, Texas. Things in the left-hander's batter's box. 2-1, ground to the right side. LaRue moves off first, moves to his right, fields it, throws to first. Hendon will end the second inning just away into the first with a 3-1 ground out, and he leaves 2 on as we move to the bottom half of the second. Hayes down by 1, looking to tie it up and take the lead in the bottom half. Bottom of the second, Braden Lukart, tonight's beverage batter, will lead things off for Hayes. It's a called strike here against Dressendorf. A 1 count to the right fielder out of the University of Oklahoma. Larks looking to win their fifth straight against the Kansas Cannons. This one will miss outside. 1-1 counts. Dressendorf in the first inning gave up 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, and had 1 earned run. He forced 2 to be left on base. Lukart pops this one up over the grandstand, out of play. Braden Courtesy ran on Sunday and scored a run. Scoreboard reads a 1-2 count to the right fielder. He takes this one opposite field as a pop fly. Gump moves right and behind the third base coach's box, records out number 1 in the leather. 3 straight retired for Dressendorf. Takes us to the 8-hole third baseman, Ben Ferenzi. Base is empty, 1 away in the bottom half of the second inning. Ferenzi, one of 2 Arizona Western Matadors on the roster. The only one that hits. Chris Echeverria is a right-handed pitcher. Has made quite a few appearances in relief this summer. Ferenzi played in 58 games for the Matadors this past spring, racking up 53 hits and driving in 39. Getting the start at third base tonight after seeing action primarily at short and second. Early in the season, Hutchison was plunked by a pitch in the last game. Sorry, I have to always mute the broadcast when that song comes over the PA. We've gotten copyrighted for it before, but continuing that, Ferenzi took over at third base after Hutchison was hit by a pitch in the kneecap in the first inning of the last game, and then stayed there. Hutchison came out in the lineup. Tanner Rice hit for him and played second base the rest of the day. So Hutch out of the order today. We'll see if he's back for tomorrow. Ferenzi waits on a curveball. Swings under it and will be out number 2 of the second. Strikeout number 3 of the day for Dressendorf through 1 2/3.
The designated hitter from East Tennessee State, number 8,
Leo Jiminian to the box. Scored 2 runs and drove in a run. No, that's the wrong guy. Jiminian making his first appearance against the Cannons this season. Is the only Lark from last year's roster to appear in this game so far, and he will fly out to the left fielder on 1 pitch. Dressendorfer faces the minimum and retires aside in the second inning on a pop out, a fly out, and a strikeout. Larks trail by 1 as we move to the third here in Hayes. Top of the third here in Hayes. Hendon returns to the mound, gets a check swing and a called strike against Rocco Gump, who reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. A 1 counts here to the 5 hole. Hendon misses low, 1-1 counts. Both teams put up a goose egg in the second. After the Cannons scored 2 in the first, Larks scored 1. Hayes is trailing by 1. Larks had yesterday off. They're 5-0 on this homestand. This is game number 6 over the past 7 days. And then goes from the stretch, gets a swing and a miss, and will strike out Rocco Gump for out number 1 of the third inning. First strikeout on the day for Hendon. Strikeout number 11 this season for him through 9 2/3. Struck out 5 against the Rough Riders on the 12th through 2 innings, and that's his season high. Another swing and a miss, this one to Gabe Ramos, who singled in the first inning. And he takes one to right center field. It's going to be a single as Lukart was able to read it and get to it in time before it allowed extra bases. Ramos now 2 for 2 with the run driven in. One away, runner at first base for Caleb Blasey, who walked in the first inning, but did not get past first base, as he was the last batter that Austin Pewitt faced. Hendon came in, threw one pitch, and got a ground out to end the inning. No balls and a strike here to the right fielder. Blasey has played against the Larks before. He's a Wichita native. Goes to Dodge City Community College. 1-1 counts. He sends this one opposite field. It's going to be foul. So Ross won't have to chase it all the way. Ray on deck with Hargraves in the hole. Larks fans and Cannons fans, you can see the Larks socials on your screen. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the Larks on Twitter, and like the Larks on Facebook. We thank you for tuning in and spending your Tuesday night with Larks Network. So we got quite a bit of baseball to go tonight as Hendon misses the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Blasey. Jazz Love and Rice in the middle of the infield, ready to turn a double play with 1 away and a runner at first base. 2-2 home, taking the left field again. Rawson moves to his right, now moves in, and will record the catch with no troubles in left field for out number 2. Rawson was not an outfielder in his original recruitment out of high school, but Weatherford just started playing him there. He was originally a middle infielder, and through that has become a really solid outfielder as well. And the Larks have used him kind of all over the field to start the season. 2 away, runner at first base for Mason Ray, who grounded out to Tyler LaRue on 1 pitch in inning number 1 to end it and leave the bases loaded. 1-0 counts. Do it for the Larks in the bottom of this inning. Top of the order, Tanner Rice, Jazz Love, and Tarosian. Fly ball over to the right side will be foul. Hendon will go from the stretch 1-1. Eyes into the left-hander's batter's box, and he'll miss the zone. Getting his lead at first base is Ramos. As Ray sends one into center field, Jack Terosian will make the catch on the run for outs number 3. Hendon allows a single but gets 3 outs and a strikeout. In the third, to the bottom half we go. Hayes trails by 1. Bottom of the third, Tanner Rice will lead things off at the top of the order. He is 1 for 1 today after having a double to start off the bottom of the first inning, and he scored the lone run of the day for the Larks. Quick 2 balls here to the second baseman for Hayes. 3-0 count. Dressendorf, unranked by perfect game coming out of high school. The 2021 graduate of Round Rock High School. And again, no appearances this year for Angelo State. The 5'11 freshman Southpaw delivers, and we'll get a called strike here to Tanner Rice. This was Tanner Rice's first year of college. Played in 41 games for the UTA Mavericks. Picked up 29 hits and 20 walks. Sends his 3-1 to left field. Sherrar won't have to worry about it because as it drifts back into the infield, and York will make the play at shortstop behind third base for outs number 1 of the third.
The back shortstop, Austin Jaslov.
One away, base is empty for Jaslov, who singled in the first. Took Tanner Rice to third. Rice eventually scored. Jaslov got to third on the LaRue double, but was left at third after a strikeout, and a flyout ended the first inning. He put his hitting streak at 5 games. That's tied for the third longest on the team behind LaRue and Terosian. Terosian on deck, LaRue in the hole for Hayes. Looking for their 9th straight victory and win their 12th of their last 13. Jazz Love, nice swing, but just a little bit early. Had some major pop on that, but it was plenty foul. The ball always sounds good off of Jazz Love's bats. And he's slugging .612 this season. He's driven in 15 runs. This one outside and high, 2-1 to the Knoxville native. Bottom of the third, one away, 2-1. Base is empty. Dressendorf misses outside, 3-1. In this homestand, Larks swept the Rough Riders in 3 games and swept the Cougars in 2 games. And Jazz Love sends this one to left field. Sherrar moves back. He's at the warning track, and he will make the catch on the warning track for outs. Number 2 was just a few feet away from home run number 2 this season for Jazz.
The center fielder, Jack Terosia.
To the 3-hole with 2 away, Jack Terosian, who struck out swinging in the first inning. LaRue awaits on deck. Once coming to the plate for the second time today. We don't have a smaller crowd tonight compared to other Larks games this season, but there was rain in the forecast, so people are slow to get to the park. Attendance has still been trickling in, but still a pretty big crowd, especially compared to some of the places the Larks have played this year out in Colorado. Terosian takes this one into the Larks fan pavilion on the left side. And he'll have his count knotted up, 1-1. 2-way, base is empty. Good eye here as this one goes into the left-hander's batter's box, missing low and outside. Two balls, 1 strike. This delivery to Terosian will miss low. 3-1 hitters counts for the center fielder. Jack has been so good for the Larks this year. Batting .422, has gone on base in 56% of his plate appearances. He sends it off the bottom of his bat. It rolls to the backstop here at Larks Park, and he will have a full count. 2 away, Larks had a guy up in the pen and moving. Now there's no action. Payoff pitch to Jack Terosian, grounded to the first baseman. Ramos, he fields it off the turf. It will tag first base for outs number 3 himself. 8 straight Larks have been retired. Larks go 1-2-3 for the second straight inning. And Cam Walton strikes out to the mound and will take over for the 4th inning here in Hayes. Top of the fourth. Bottom of the order, Oscar Hargraves will lead it off. He had a leadoff single in the second inning, got all the way to third base. But then Hendon responded with a fly on the ground out to leave him there. Sends a fly ball out of play. Down the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Cam Walton, this third pitcher of the day for the Larks. Austin Pewitt threw just 2/3 of an inning in the start. Hendon comes in with a good 2 1/3. And now Walton will make appearance number 6 on the mound this season for the Larks. His 4th appearance at Larks Park, 6th overall in the season. His last appearance was a start. His other 4, not counting this one, were in relief. 1 ball, 2 strikes here to the second baseman. Walton's thrown 9 innings this year. He's yet to pick up a decision according to the Game Changer, but the Game Changer's often wrong, so I'll fact check that in a second. But in the meantime, he does pick up strikeout number 13 this season. So it takes us to Drake Angeron at the plates. 1 away, base is empty for the top of the order center fielder, who was 1 for 2 on the day with, or 0 for 1 on the day with a pop out and a walk. Both teams scoreless in the second and the third. Cannon's looking to change that here in the fourth. Angeron sends one to the first baseman, LaRue, who waits on it. Has a nice reaction as it took a weird bounce, but he hops it and takes it to first himself for out number 2. 4 straight retired.
The shortstop, number 2, Cade York.
Takes us to Cade York. Yes. Strike here to him. York batting .343 this season. Takes a hard one to Ferenzi, who feels at the chest after 1 bounce, and it's a 1-2-3 inning quick for Cam Walton on the mound. Larks have now retired 5 straight. Walton does what they brought him in to do, and we go to the bottom half. Larks looking to get out of the deficit. Leading off the bottom of the fourth for the Larks, the cleanup first baseman from Houston Baptist, Tyler LaRue, has been at the cleanup spot for a few games now and sends one to right field, and he will reach on his second hit of the day, a double and a single. This one going opposite field, leadoff hit for the Larks. It is their second leadoff hit of the day. So we go to Jackson Halter, 0 for 1 on the day. struck out looking in the first inning. Still Dressendorfer on the mound. Has kept the Larks scoreless in innings 2 and 3. Larks get their first base runner since there's only one out in the first inning. That's where they got back-to-back outs in the first, and then went 1, 2, 3 in innings 2 and 3. No balls and a strike here to number 5. LaRue with his lead at first. Dressendorfer delivers home. Hits it off the turf. 1 ball and a strike. Lark fans, be sure to tune in tomorrow as we take on the Liberal BJs in Liberal. First pitch at 7 p.m. Catch it right here on Larks Network. 1-1 home to Halter. This is inside. Dressendorfer loses his hat again and will have a 2-1 count. So after allowing back-to-back hits to start the game and then 2 doubles in that first inning, he's really settled down, but LaRue got him on a single here in the 4th, and Halter looked to shake him up even more. 2-1, he fouls it off Ray in the umpire. We'll go 2-2 at the count. Girard in left and Girard in center. Blasey in right for the Cannons. Gump at third, York at shortstop. Hargreaves at second, Ramos at first with Ray behind the dish. Dressendorfer looks at LaRue for a while and will get Halter looking for the second time today. Strikeout number 4 on the day for Dressendorfer. Rawson to the box. He popped up in the left field to end the first inning. 5 through 9 in the order, a combined 0 for 6. Rawson will find this one and take it to right field between Hargraves and Ramos on the ground for a 1-out single. 2 singles this inning. 5 hits on the day for the Larks. Their first 2 hits since the first inning. And will bring us to Lucarts. Lucart out of OU. He popped out to Gump for out number 1 of the second inning. It's part of a stretch where Dressendorfer retired 8 straight Hayes Larks. 1 away, 2 on. It's in the zone here, 1-0. Crew at second, Rawson at first base. Ramos electing not to hold Rawson on, but York dances around behind LaRue. 1-0, Lucart late on the swing. 1 ball and a strike. Over an hour into this game, 1-1 count with 1 away in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Hayes down by 1 run. We've been scoreless since that first inning. And Ray pump fakes and makes the runners retreat back to first and second as this one misses the zone. 3-1. Runner in scoring position for Lucarts. Looking to tie the game up with the hits. Lucarts has driven in 6 runs this season. This one will miss inside. And that was ball 3 of the AB. Almost caught Lucart. He had to bend backwards to avoid being plunked. And Dressendorfer will go from the stretch. This one above the letters, and Braden Lucart will be the first walk of the day from Dressendorf. LaRue goes to third, Hunter Rawson to second. Lucarts will load him up. So we go to Ben Ferenzi, 0 for on the day with the strikeouts. He's batting .371 this year, slugging .571. And before Ferenzi can take any cuts, Phil Stevenson will be out of the dugouts. I mentioned earlier that last year these two teams met up in Hayes early in the season. Larks won it on a Grant Schmidt walk-off solo home run, 8-7 in the bottom of the ninth. Let's take a look at that. It's delivered to Schmidt, hit hard to left field. Could it be a walk-off home run? It's going to be at the fence. And it won't be caught by Shively, and it's a walk-off home run for Grant Schmidt. You can't write it better than that. The Larks win 8-7 off the bat at Grant Schmidt. Man, the first batter of the ninth, and he sends it to right field and gives the Larks a win. And the Larks are going to celebrate here well. It was one of the highlights of the season right there. A fun day for everyone involved. The Larks, a fun celebration, and Grant Schmidt won it. Larks went on a tear after that and were on a win streak going into that game. As for here in Hayes, they're on a current 8-game winning streak, but Dressendorfer will be done after 3 1/3. Bases loaded for the new pitcher, but the first 3 innings for Dressendorfer were good, and I'll let you know who the new pitcher is in just a second. Every base with a Lark on it here in the bottom of the fourth for Ferenzi, looking for his first of the ball game. All runs would count to Dressendorfer of the guys who are on the base paths. He allowed 2 hits and a walk on just 1 out in this 4th inning. New pitcher into the game is Connor Hull out of Rogers State. He's an Andover, Kansas native, and he misses 2-0 to the Australia native. Ferenzi out of Melbourne, Australia, the 5'10 freshman, has a 2-0 count. Before going to Rogers State, Hall spent a couple of years at Pratt Community College here in Kansas. Made 17 appearances over 2 years on the mound. Picked up 3 starts this past season and went 3-3 on the mound. Through 43 2/3, striking out 29 and had 46 earned runs. And allowed 60 hits. Through just 1 inning in the previous year, struck out 2 and had 6 earned runs. This one will catch the zone. The Larks faithful thought it should have been ball 3, and so the count goes 2-2. LaRue at third base, with Rawson at second, Lucart at first. And this one will hit Ben Ferenzi in a painful RBI, but we'll take it and tie the game up. LaRue scores for the first time today. He now has an RBI and a run scored. Ross moves to third, Lucart to second, and it's 2-2. Going to bring the 6-hitter of the inning to the plate, and Leo Jiminian at the bottom of the order. LaRue scores for the 15th time this season. Ferenzi is hit for the 4th time this year and drives in his 8th run of the season. Still only one away with everybody on base for Leo Jiminian. The only Lark that has come to the plate this inning that did not reach was Jackson Halter, who struck out looking for the lone out of the 4th. LaRue led it off with a single scored. Halter then struck out. Ross singled. Lukart walked, and now Ferenzi just hit by a pitch. Jiminian hits this one to left field. It's going to drop. Sherrard did enough to make Rawson hold up for just a second, but he's going to be home in plenty of time. And it's an RBI single for Leo Jiminian. 3-2 Larks now, who have scored 2 in the 4th inning on just 1 out. Rawson scores. Lukart to 3rd, Ferenzi to 2nd. Larks with their first lead of the day after trailing 2-0 after the top of the 1st. They got a run back, but have been 2-1 since then. Tanner Rice to the box, 1 for 2 in the day with a double and a pop-out. Jiminian's 7th RBI this season, and RBI number 52 in his 3-year Larks career. 1-0 count to Rice. It'll miss inside 2-0. Rawson scores for the 20th time this season. That is now tied with Jack Terosian for the team lead. 2 balls, no strike here to Rice. This one bounces in front of the catcher Ray, and it gets away from him. Everybody will move up 90 feet, and Lukart will score run number 4 of the day for Hayes. Things starting to fall apart for the Cannons here. In the 4th inning, they need to do damage control with a 3-0 count and only 1 out with 2 in scoring position. So after being 1 strike away from getting Ferenzi out and getting 2 outs, they hit him, and since then, Larks have picked up 2 more runs. Call a strike here, 3-1 count to Rice. Hitter's counts grounded to the right side, and a roll to first base coach Andy Luton. And we'll get a second attempt here at getting Rice out. Full counts. Rice looking for his 2nd of the day after Lukart just scored for the 8th time this summer. Payoff pitch goes inside, and Rice swung at it. Unhappy with himself as he strikeout number 2 of the inning and out number 2. It'll bring us the 8th hitter of the inning, Austin Jaslov, who singled in the 1st inning, would like to repeat that here in the 4th. Terosian, the lone Lark, to not come to the plate this inning. He stands on deck with LaRue, who led off the inning with a single in the hole. Time called. Connor Hall is 6'5" righty. Has a career ERA of 10.48 at Pratt. And Jaslov reaches for one here, fouls it off 0-1. Larks have scored 3 this inning, bringing 8 to the plate. 3 singles, a walk, and a hit by pitch with 2 strikeouts. 0-1 home. Jaslov thinks about it, holds up, and we'll get a second strike of the AB. Due up for the Cannons, 3, 4, and 5, heart of the order. Sherrard, Davis, and Gump. And Jaslov will strike out on 3 pitches. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hall ends the inning. The Larks get 3 back and will take a 4-2 lead to the 5th inning. You're listening to Larks Network. This is Carson Ackerman on the call. 2-run lead for the Larks here in the top of the 5th. Cam Walton returns for his second inning on the bump after working a 1-2-3 fourth. Picked up a pair of groundouts and a strikeout. There's a lone 1-2-3 inning today for Hayes. He'd sure like to repeat it. The 1-0 grounded hard to the Cannons, dug out 1-1. Sherrara on the day, 0 for 2. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning and scored the second run of the game. Then he flew out to Jack Terosian for out number 2 of the second. Walton peeks over his glove, gets the signs from Halter, and misses high and outside. 2 balls and a strike here to leadoff man of the 5th. The 2-1s hit hard to right center field. Lucard and Terozzi move towards it, and it is going to be a solo shot to right center field from Robert Sherrar, and he will touch them all and make it a 4-3 ball game. First extra base hit of the day for the Kansas Cannons. It's a good one, and the deficit is cut to 1. That is his first home run of the season, just his second extra base hit. He drives in his 10th run of the season and scores for the 11th time this year in his 11th game. Brings to the plate Zach Davis. After Sherrar scores for the second time today, his delivery outside. 2 balls, no strikes here to the DH batting cleanup. He walked in the first and then grounded out in the second to Tyler LaRue. Three balls in this at-bat from Walton. Maybe a little shaken up after giving him the home run. Goes quick here from the windup. The 3-0 will miss outside, and he will walk Davis on 4 pitches. The second walk that Davis has drawn today. The other one was against Austin Pewitt. These two teams will meet up later on in the season. It'll be in July on the 12th in Augusta. So Larks will look to win that one and win here. A lot of work to be done. They're up just 1 after Sherrar gets the first run for the Cannons since the first inning. A 1 count if this one's found to the backstop, and then Walton misses outside on the next one. 1-1 counts. Larks do have a right-handed pitcher up in the pen. I'm pretty sure that is Cade Hare from here. Pop up goes behind the grandstand. 1-2. Gump, the third hitter of the inning. He is 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice and a strikeout. Outside 2-2. Walton outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. So after a 1-2-3 fourth, Walton struggling a little bit here in the 5th. Hitting through 2 1/3 before Walton came in. Runner takes off, but it won't matter. Walton walks back to back, and we'll see if Keith Harper gets up from the dugout to chat with his pitcher. I think Ferenzi thought he was going to, the way he started walking towards the mound. The Larks pitching coach now stands up and looks to the bullpen and walks out to the mound. And we'll see if we get a pitching change here in the 5th inning as Cade Hare looks at him and gives him a nod. 2 on, nobody out. Walton stays on the rubber. Cade Hare throws some warm-up pitches in the pen. And Walton will get a ground ball to LaRue, skips it to Jaslove, and then it'll be a 3-6-3 double play. What a nice play by Jaslove at short to pick it up off a tough bounce with some velocity and then get one hard in time to first base to get Ramos out at first. Ramos now 2 of 3 with that double play. What a nice play from Jaslove, who has been at the shortstop spot quite a bit this season for Hayes. The left side of the infield has been so good between him and Hutchison and Ferenzi. Runner at third base with 2 away for Caleb Blasey. That is Davis, the DH at first. He was the second hitter of the inning and walked. Blasey coming up for the third time. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out and a walk. So Walton gets what Keith Harper wanted in his 18th year as the Larks pitching coach. This one, a fastball, will miss low. 2 balls and a strike. Walton, in his Larks debut, struck out 5 against the Batcats and sees one go deep to left field here. Hunter Rawson is at the wall. He leaps up for it, won't bring it in. It bounces off the wall, and it'll be a 2-out RBI double for Caleb Blasey, and he will tie up the game. Second extra base hit of the inning, the only 2 on the day. Here in this inning, Davis scores. Blasey picks up the RBI. 4-4 ball game with a runner at second base and 2 outs in the 5th inning. Good effort from Rawson, just unable to bring it in. That is Blasey's 7th ribby of the season. Davis scores for the 11th time this year. 2-0 after the fastball misses upstairs. A little bit of rain still to come here in Hayes, so we'll see if that has any effect on whether we have to go into a delay or not. There was a little bit of rain to start the game, but it wasn't enough to detour anything. No lightning. Not sure what is yet to come, but just saw the update that there is rain expected in about 20 minutes. 2 balls and a strike here to Mason Ray, the catcher, who is 0 for 2 today with a ground out to LaRue and a fly out to Rosian. He was out number 3 of innings 1 and 3. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Walton, the New Mexico Lobo, out of Cleburne, Texas. Looking 2-2 count, looking to end the 5th here. He goes from the stretch and gets a swing and a miss right here, striking out his 2nd of the day. And that will leave the runner at second base. Strikeout number 14 this year for Cam Walton through 11 innings. But the Cannons tie the game up off of a home run and a double. To the bottom half we go, 4 apiece in Hayes.
Meet me down at the ballpark, where I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. All of my friends are gonna be there too. Nothing in the world I'd rather do than grab a hot dog burger and a cold beer. You'll hear me yelling out a big cheer, 'cause whether they win or whether they lose, I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. I can't wait to see a home run. I know for sure there's gonna be one. I'll call out the players by their first name. Sure am glad I made it to the game. Rain or shine, I'm gonna be there. If the stands are full, I'll bring a lawn chair. So Join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! Join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks!
Jack Terosian to lead things off in the bottom half of the 5th inning for the Larks. After the Cannons picked up a couple of runs in the top half of the inning, Terosian sends this one over the right side and foul. 2 hits, 2 walks, runner left on base, and 2 runs in the 5th inning for the Cannons. Now had 6 hits, 6 walks, scored 4 runs, and they left 7 on base. Those 7 left on base might come back to bite them later in the game. That's quite a bit to be left on through 5 innings. They left 3 on in the first and then 2 on in the second. 1 on in the third and now 1 in the 5th. 4-4 ball game. Larks looking to take their second lead of the day. Terosian swings and misses in a uncharacteristic day for Jack Terosian, starting off 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts.
The first baseman, Tyler LaRue.
We'll take it to Tyler LaRue, who put his hitting streak at 12 games back in the first inning with a 1-out RBI double. Then he followed up with a single in his second at-bat in the 4th inning, and he scored the Larks' second run of the day. He's responsible for half the runs today for Hayes, and he takes this one to left field. Showrower moves back. He's looking up. He's at the warning track. You betcha. Solo home run for Tyler LaRue, who's now just a triple shy of the cycle. Larks back up on top, 5-4. LaRue now leading the team in RBIs by himself. He'll get a put on the pink cowboy hat and go back to dugouts with the lead. LaRue, I told you earlier in the game, he's one of the toughest outs in Kansas. And it shows it right there. Home run number 3 for LaRue. All in this homestand. He's now picked up 22 RBIs this year, leading the team. He scored 16 times as well. That is tied for 3rd on the team. What a stretch it's been for Tyler LaRue over the past week or so. He was just a hit shy of the cycle the other day and is back in the same boat. 1 away, bases empty for Jackson Halter, who's 0 for 2. And LaRue takes this one to right field. Blasey barely has to move forward, though. Looked good off the bats, and will be out number 2 of the 5th. Second home run of the 5th inning, 1 from each team. Now there's 2 away for Hunter Rawson, who singled and scored in the last inning. Rawson, a product of Weatherford Community College. He's a UTA Maverick from Aledo, Texas. Working with the bases empty against Connor Hall, who's on the bump for his second inning. Rawson bounces this one to left field, and it'll be a 2-out single for him, his second single today. Rawson on a 3-game hitting streak. He's at first with 2 away. Jaslove with a hit today. LaRue with 3 hits today. Rice with a hit. Rawson with 2. And Jeminian with 1 as well. Larks have 8 hits. Let's go to Braden Lucard, who walked in the 4th inning and scored. To the Oklahoma Sooner. Looking to get on base for the second straight inning. He sends this one off the end of his bat. It'll be caught by York running to his right at shortstop. Good swing just off the end of the bat. It flies to the shortstop York and will end the inning. But Larks do take their lead. Back here in the 5th inning, they're up by 1 after LaRue took one deep to left field for a solo shot, his 3rd home run of the season. Second half of the fifth here in Hayes, or excuse me, top half of the sixth. Scoreboard didn't update on the stream, but is inning number 6. Cade Hare will be the second Central Alabama pitcher to take the bump today, replacing Cam Walton, the New Mexico Lobo. It is the bottom of the order. Oscar Hargraves leading off his third inning today. He has a single and a strikeout in his 2 at-bats. Swings at this one, no contact, 1 ball and a strike. Cade Hare on the bump. He's the 4th pitcher today for the Larks. Pewitt got the starts, and we went with Hendon, Walton, and now Hare. Foul ball here, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 6th appearance on the mound for Cade Hare, his 5th at Larks Park. He's thrown 8 2/3, has 3 earned runs, giving up 5 hits, walking 7, but striking out 8 hitters. He's given up an ERA of 3.12 and a WHIP at 1.39. 2 balls, 2 strikes here to Hare. His last appearance was on Sunday. Threw an inning in relief, allowed 1 hit, no walks, no runs. Before that, he pitched against the Rough Riders on Wednesday in the homestand opener. Threw 3 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, struck out 5, no runs. It was a good outing for Hare and his best of the season. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We'll get the payoff pitch here to Hargraves, the second baseman. He sends it up the middle, and it will be a leadoff base hit, his second leadoff single of the day. But when he did that in the second inning, the Larks strained him at third base and got the first scoreless inning out of the Cannons. But a Drake Andron, who, like I mentioned, played for the Larks in 2019. There you see his card from 2019 and some pictures courtesy of Haley Chapman. Drake was actually my roommate on the road trips along with Christian Percy and Tommy Garcia, so cool moment for me to get to announce him again after he's gone 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a pop-up and a walk and a run scored. Shakes his head at this one as it misses low, 2-0. Hare will work from the stretch with Hargraves at first. Hare from Phoenix City, Alabama, going up against the Louisiana native. And Andron takes it to right field to move Hargraves up to second base. But Lucart races in to make sure he stays at second. Andron's first hit of the day. There is 2 on with nobody outs.
The shortstop, number 2, Cade York.
Larks up by 1. Andron at first, Hargraves at second. For Cade York, who is 1 for 2 today with a walk and a single. Nice breaking ball from Hare. Looked like it was going to hit York when it immediately released from his hand. Slid into the zone for a called strike. Hare throws strikes on about 57% of his pitches. Starts off over half of his batters with a first pitch strike and does so right here. Misses it this one with a ball. He's had 4 no-walk innings out of the 8 2/3 he'd thrown coming into this game. And he's held his opponents to a 161 batting average. He could just cut the walks down. He would have really, really good numbers this season. It's not that he's had bad numbers. He's had good. It's just the 7 walks through 8 2/3 have been the problem for him because he hasn't given up that many hits. 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Cade York. Looking for his second hit of the day. York will be at first base now. Andrew on at second. Hargraves at third. Bases are loaded after the catcher interference. Sherrard to the box. He's 1 for 3 on the day with a home run, and he scored 2 times, once in the 5th. And he reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 1st inning. He drove in himself in the 5th. So Larks, they want to give him something good to hit. They've seen what he can do already. Kobe Grimsley in the pen for the Larks, working with some cables but not throwing. Larks sporting their retro uniforms with the cream color on the HL front. It's our 2nd year with the unis after getting them last year for the 75th anniversary season. So 1-1 count here, reading the scoreboard at Larks Park. Bases loaded. Hargraves at third, Andrew at second. York at first. Air misses outside, 2-1 counts. Bases were loaded in the first inning. Hendon left him loaded. Larks have forced 7 to be left on base today, and they would like to add to that number here in the 6th. 2-1 outside, 3-1. Can't give the guy who has the home run on the day something good to hit with the hitter's count, but you can't walk in a run. So Hare will get set up, look at the runner at third base, and have to deliver from the stretch. 3-1 count, bases loaded, and a 1-run ball game here in downtown Hays, Kansas. 3-1, nice pitch. Might have been just outside, but Halter framed it for his pitcher, and he will get called strike 2. And a big payoff pitch coming to the cleanup, to the 3-hole Sherrard. Payoff pitch from the stretch. Harry delivers. It's swung on and sent to the backstop, and we'll do it again. Harris pitch count at 15 now. 6 of them strikes. Larks have thrown strikes on under 50% of their pitches today. That first inning was a rough one for finding the zone. That's kind of thrown off the numbers. Only 9 of the 29 pitches thrown in the first inning were strikes. Ground ball goes to LaRue, who'll tap first base and throw home. The throw will not be in time. Halter did not apply the tag. Force was off since the runner at first was out. So Sherrard will ground out to LaRue and drive home Hargraves. Hargraves scores for the first time today. Had there been a force to throw, it would have been plenty in time, but LaRue went with the guaranteed outs and tried to get one more and didn't get it, so we'll be tied at 5 here in the 6th inning. RBI number 2 in the day for Sherrard. Andrew on at third, York at second. No double play on the table, but a good payoff pitch from Hare got him at least 1 out on a ground ball in the infield. Off speed outside corner, 1 ball and a strike. Cannons have scored 3 runs over the course of the past 4 outs, scoring 2 in the 5th and 1 here in the 6th. Swan in the same spot, but Davis takes it off the end of his bat and over the grandstand and out of the park. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 away, 2 in scoring position in a 5-all ball game. 1-2 home, outside again. Davis thought about it for a second, held up, and this count moves to 2-2. Larks do have a righty up in the pen. I guess would be Grimsley, just by the way he was stretching out in the bullpen. Two outside again, but it gets a swing and a miss on to Davis. Harris' first strikeout of the 6th inning. And there's now 2 away. Larks would love to leave Andrew on at third and York at second. Harris struck out 9 this season through 9 1/3. Under the lights here in Hayes, top of the 6th, 2 away. Gump to the box. He is 0 for 2 with a walk and his strikeouts, and he reached on a fielder's choice in the first. 1-0 count to him. Do for the Larks trying to get the lead back in inning number 6 will be Ferenzi, Jiminian, and Rice. Hare from the stretch, 1-0, misses the low outside corner, 2 balls, no strikes. It's a non-league game for both teams. Both teams in first place in their respective leagues. A 2-0 home from Hare. Misses outside, 3 balls, no strikes. Three balls, no strikes. Hare delivers. Pitch number 4 is down the pipe for a called strike. Hitter's count for the third baseman from Andover, Kansas. Quite a few Kansas natives on the roster for the Cannons. Larks have only 2, and both of them are Hayes natives, and Hutchison and Dreiling both on the off night tonight. 3-1 grounded to the right side. Rice will run in, and the throw to first is not going to be in time. LaRue stretches, and it's going to be an RBI infield single for Gump. Rice had to wait on that one, but Angeron will score from third and give the Cannons the lead back. They've scored 6, 2 in the first, and then 2 again in the 5th and 6th. Runners on the corners for Ramos. Andreon has scored 2 of the 6 runs today for the Cannons. Ramos to the box. He's 2 for 3 with 2 singles, but he also grounded into a double play in the 5th. It was a really nice play from Jaslov. This one will get away from Halter, and York will score from third base. It is now a 7-5 ball game. Top 4 in the order have combined for 6 of the 7 runs. So the Larks looked really good 2, 3, and 4 innings. Hendon looked good on the mound, and then Walton threw a 1, 2, 3, 4th. Then Walton the 5th gave up a couple of earned runs. And now Cade Hare has a couple of runs here in the 6th. 7-5 in favor of the away team. Miss outside 1-0. Home popped up and into the grandstand for some fans. So we're going 1-1 with the counts. Hare made 12 appearances this year for the Trojans at Central Alabama. Before that, he was at Smith Station High School. His senior year, picked up a couple of wins and had an ERA at 2.62. Halter sets up down the middle, the 2-2 home, sent to the left field side. Ferenzi moves towards it, but will get called off by Rosson, who almost overran it, but reaches back to get out number 3. But the Cannons do score 3 in the 6th inning and will take a 2-run lead to the bottom half in Hayes. Bottom of the 6th. Leading it off is the 8-hole Ben Ferenzi, 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Then he was hit by a pitch in his second plate appearance. That was in the 4th inning. He takes this one to left field, but Sherrar will get under it, under the lights for out number 1. 2 pitches in and outs. Ferenzi now 0 for 2. He did drive in a run on that hit by pitch. One away for Jeminian, who has a single and a flat on the day with an RBI. Rice on deck, Jazz Love in the hole for Hayes. Jeminian takes this one oppo. It'll bounce to the second baseman Hargraves, who takes it off his glove. And it'll be ruled an E4, the first error of the day for the Cannons. And I'll bring Rice to dish. Jeminian aboard for the second time today. We'll see if the Larks send him to second on a stolen base attempt. He's second on the team in stolen bases. And he has speed, but do you want to risk anything is the question for Frank Leo. Rice to the plate, 1 for 3 with a double. Back in the first inning, and he scored in that first inning. (1-0) foul ball, 1-1. Jeminian 8 for 9 in stolen base attempts this season. He's stolen 41 bases for the Larks over the course of 76 career games. This one catches the outside part of the plate, called strike 2 to Rice. Rice, not a guy at the plate who complains about calls or ever argues with umpires, so he'll react and get back in the box. 1-2. Runner takes off. Jeminian will now be 9 of 10. The throw goes over second base, and Jeminian will move up to third base. It was almost away from Gump at third. He blocks it with his body. Jeminian steals base number 9 and goes to third base on the play. 2 errors force Jeminian to third. So Rice 2-2 counts after that one missed the zone. Jiminian reached on an error, and that throwing error allows him to go to third. Ground ball to the shortstop, York. Jiminian took off for home right away. The throw to first is going to be high and in time. Ramos brought it in, but Jiminian scores, and Rice picks up RBI on the play. Larks cut the deficit in half. They've scored in each of the past 3 innings.
The shortstop, Austin Jaslov.
7-6 Cannons. Jiminians 4-2 run scored of the season. Tanner Rice's 8th RBI. Jaslov to the box. Sends one into the grandstand, and a fan makes a play on it. No balls in, a strike to Jaslov, who had a single back in the first inning, since then is 0 for 2. Watches this one get called strike 2. Rosian waiting on deck. This one above the letters, 1-2. Larks have run 4 to the plate now. They had one reach on an error, steal second, go to third on the overthrow, and then it was Jiminian who scored. 1-2, Jaslov reaches to protect the plate, sends one down the right field line, but it'll be foul. So we'll stay 1-2. Jaslov, a 6'2" redshirt freshman for the University of Tennessee. Redshirted in 2021. Last summer, his first summer as a college student, played for the Charlotte Mustangs, picked up 27 games for them, and racked up 34 hits, 17 RBIs, while batting .340 for the Mustangs. 2-2 count with 2 away, bases empty. He waits on one, and it was one worth waiting on. Right down the pipe, and he takes it off the barrel of his bat to left field. He's digging for 2. He will slide in head first and be in time for a 2-out double. There was a moment of silence here at Larks Park as they were waiting on the call, but it was pretty clear that he was in safely. Good speed from Jaslov pays off, and he's in scoring position with 2 outs.
The center fielder, Jack Rosian.
His second hit of the ball game, his first extra base hit today. Hitting streak at 5 games after that single in the first. They'll bring up Jack Tarosian, who is 0 for 3. He's one of only 2 Larks to not reach today. And so, take that as a compliment to the Cannons. If you can keep this guy off the base paths, congratulations. He is a very tough out. He gets on base in over half of his plate appearance, and he fouls this first pitch off 0-1. Swan will miss outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Jaslov does have wheels. You saw him leg out what could have easily been a single for an extra base. So I'm thinking something in the grass here at Larks Park could tie the game up. Tarosian sends this one to left field. Sharar moves right, now moves left, and we'll get out number 3 in left field. Larks do score 1. They also pick up another hit in the 6th inning and score their 6th run. We'll take a 1-run deficit to the 7th here in Hayes as Cade Hare goes back to the mound. Cale Blasey will lead off the top of the 7th for the Kansas Cannons. Cade Hare returns for his second inning on the mound. He gave up 3 runs on 2 hits in the 6th inning. 1 runner did reach on catcher's interference. Because of some other circumstances, only 1 of the 3 runs that scored will be earned for Hare. 1-0. Alter catches it over the outside corner, 1-1. Grimsley was warming up in the pen in the last inning for the Larks, and now we have a southpaw up and moving. Deep sigh from here on the mound, then he delivers 2-1. Pewitt got the start, went 2/3 an inning. Allowed 1 hit and 2 earned runs, walking 4. Hendon came in, did damage control in the first inning, threw 1 pitch and got a ground out. Hendon finishes his day 2 1/3, 3 hits allowed, no runs, 1 strikeout, no walks. Walton then threw innings 4 and 5, worked a 1-2-3 fourth, and in the 5th gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks, or 1 strikeout in the 5th, 1 in the 4th. And then Hare threw 1 inning, 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 of them earned. Struck out 1, no walks. This next pitch will be number 38 for Cade Hare. He delivers. It'll be about the letters 3-2 count here to Cale Blasey, who's 1 for 2 in the day with a double and a walk. Drove in a run earlier in the day. The 3-2 will miss. And they will get their 4th leadoff base runner today. Runner at first base for Mason Ray, who's over 3 today with a ground out, a fly out, and a strikeout. Larks down by 1 here at Larks Park on a Tuesday evening in north central Kansas. Showing bunts is Mason Ray. He pulls back as the pitch misses outside, 1-0. Kobe Grimsley is standing in the pen. Ray does lay down this bunt. It rolls to Cade Hare, who fields it, underhands it to first base in time for outs. Number 1 of the 7th, but Blasey moves into scoring position. Ray will still be 0 for 3 with the sacrifice bunt.
The second baseman, number 21, Oscar Hargraves.
Oscar Hargraves to the box at the bottom of the order, 2 for 3 on the day. And that'll bring Keith Harper out of the dugouts. For the Larks, we'll see if we rock with Hare or go with Kobe Grimsley. Dylan Dreiling will take over on the bump, replacing his former teammate at Tri-State Arsenal, Cade Hare. Dreiling, the Hayes native, grandson of head coach Frank Leo in his 40th season as the skipper of the Larks. Dreiling inherits a runner at second base with one away, one against Oscar Hardgraves. Dylan, the southpaw, committed to Tennessee. When he originally committed to Tennessee, he was looking like he was going to primarily be a pitcher. Now it's sounding like he's going to be an outfielder for the Volunteers, but Dreiling will get a first pitch strike here against Hardgraves. Dylan pitched in 4 games last season for the Larks, all in relief, no decisions. 2 flat ERA, giving up 2 earned runs on the mound, striking out 13, and gave up just 4 hits. No balls, 2 strikes quick. Dreiling was the Western Athletic Conference Player of the Year the past 2 years. And he'll miss the zone here, 1-2. Several Larks in the field thought it was a strike, and we're ready to throw it around the horn. Dylan's junior year at Hayes High, he went 9-0, tied for the most wins in Hayes High history. Had a .50 ERA, which is another Hayes High record. Held his opponents to a 180 opponent batting average, striking out 94 through 54 innings on the mound. And in 1 game for the Indians, he struck out 18 guys. 2-2 counts. Hargraves at the plate, looking for his 3rd hit. And he won't get it. Dreiling will pick up strikeouts at number 14 as a Lark. And we'll get out number 2 of the 7th. Good at bat from Dreiling's perspective. 2 away with a runner at second base. Top of the order, Drake Angeron to the box, the former Fort Hays State Tiger and former Hayes Lark. He's reached base twice today. He's 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. He scored both times he's reached. Dreiling gets the breaking ball to catch outside part of the plate. Nice pitch from the southpaw. Halter gives him the signs. Dreiling looks at the runner at second, who's behind the base path umpire Tony Vega. Doesn't matter. He still focuses home. Gets strike 2 called on against Angeron. And Dreiling, 5th pitcher of the day for Hayes. And he will deliver from the stretch. The 0-2 home. The heater will miss just outside 1-2. That's okay. He was up in the count 0-2. Can do whatever he wants with that pitch. And full control of the AB. York on deck with Shurar in the hole for the Cannons. But they won't need him as Dreiling will strike out the 2 batters he faces here in inning number 7. In case there's a drop 3rd strike, Halter threw down to first, and LaRue taps the bag for outs number 3 of the 7th inning. Dreiling strikes out 2 and now has 15 strikeouts on the mound as a Lark. It's a 7th inning stretch we go here in Hayes. Larks looking to get this game back in favor of them. Pitching for the Kansas Cannons in the bottom half of the 7th inning will be Danny Helmer out of Oklahoma Wesleyan. He's a Andover, Kansas native. One of 3 Andover natives on the roster for the Cannons. First batter he faces is LaRue, who loses his bat on the swing. LaRue's done that a couple times this year, but I mean, it's worked for him. He's 3 for 3 today with a double, a single, and a home run. And just a triple shy of the cycle. He scored 1 and driven in a run. Base is empty for LaRue with a 0-1 count, and this one will run outside. 1 ball and a strike for the first baseman from Houston Baptist. This is pitcher number 3 of the day for the Kansas Cannons. And LaRue will be hit by this one, and Elmer saying that he leaned into it when he started his swing. But LaRue will be aboard for the 4th time today and represents the tying run at first base. This day in Larks history, on June 11, 1999, the Hayes Larks rounded the Lindsboro Black Sox 12-0 in a non-league action at Larks Park. Albert Pujols led the Larks at the plate with 3 hits, 2 RBIs, and scored 2 runs. Winning pitcher Brian Lauder outed 2 hits and an RBI for the Hayes Larks. No balls and a strike here to Jackson LaRue at the plate, who is due for a hit, 0 for 3 on the day. This is Helmer's 4th appearance on the mound this season. He checks over at LaRue, who's in safely. He's had 3 appearances in league play, 5 total appearances. The KCLB website with the stats is those sorts of funky. I remember having to deal with that in 2019 when the Larks were in the league. Larks got out of that league after just 1 year in it. No balls, 2 strikes. Here to Halter. Halter fouls this one off. Will stay 0-2. He protects the plate. Sends this one off the inside of his bat and continues to stay alive. Oklahoma Wesleyan, an NIA school, and the pitcher from there gets a ground ball up the middle, and it will be a 4-6-3 double play. Halter gets beat by just 1 step, and there you go. For outs 1 and 2 for the Kansas Cannons. Larks down to their final 7 outs at the plate, down by 1. Helmer not listed on the Oklahoma Wesleyan roster, at least on their digital one. 2 away for Hunter Rawson, who takes a call strike over the outside corner. Two away, base is empty for the left fielder, who is 2 for 2 in his last 2 plate appearances with a couple of singles, and he also scored a run. He takes this one to left field, and it runs for a ride, but Sherrard takes a few steps in, and Helmer faces the minimum in the bottom half of the 7th. Larks go scoreless for the first time since inning number 3. They're down by 1 as we go to the 8th here in Hayes. Top of the 8th, Dylan Dreiling returned for his second inning on the rubber after the Larks went in order in inning number 7. Leading off the 8th inning is Cade York, the 2-hole, who has reached 3 times today, reached in the last inning on a catcher's interference, and swings and whiffs at this one. 1 ball and a strike here. Robert Sherrar on deck with Zach Davis in the hole for the Cannons, Dreiling misses inside, 2-1. Dreiling faced 2 in the 7th inning and struck both of them out swinging. He gets a swing and a miss here, 2-2 on a nice pitch that was a little bit upstairs, and he got a swing from York that missed under it. Larks back in action tomorrow against the Liberal BJs in Liberal. Be sure to check out that game on Larks Network. First pitch at 7 p.m. You can catch it right here. So if you're subscribed and you have the notification bell turned on, you'll get notified when we go live for that game tomorrow as the Larks look to win their first league game since Sunday. This one's hit well to left field. Hunter Rosson's at the wall. He jumps for the second time today at the wall. Won't bring this one in either. The Larks fans breathe a sigh of relief that it's just a double and not a home run. Well struck from York, the shortstop from Yavapai Community College. He's a Gold Canyon, Arizona native. He's aboard at scoring position. 4th straight leadoff base runner for the Kansas Cannons. Runner at seconds for Robert Sherrar, who had a leadoff home run in the 5th inning. He scored twice and driven in 2. Dreiling delivers off speed above the letters 1-0. Dreiling didn't get to make a ton of appearances this year at Hayes High on the mound because of his injury, and his sophomore year of high school didn't happen on the baseball field because of the pandemic, so really just judging off that junior year, if you're just looking at numbers alone, and those numbers from that year are good. In fact, they're fantastic. Like I mentioned in the last inning, struck out 18 guys in one game, going 9-0. Struck out 28 guys his freshman year. He has some velocity and some movements. As he leans in and gets the signs from Halter, and will deliver 2-1 from the stretch. Swinging a pop fly over the left side. Ben Ferenzi calls for it, runs right by the third base bag and gets outs number 2 there. Out number 1 there. Scoreboard had a premature outs. And we'll go to Zach Davis, who is over to the day with a pair of walks and a run scored. He'll dig in the right-hander's batter's box, looking for his first hit and to bring home York from second base. Larks will be down to their final 6 outs at the bottom of the inning. Now it's going to be the bottom of the order, Lucart, Ferenzi, and Jeminian, who are combined 1 for 6. One ball, no strikes here to the DH. Fouls this one off. Scoreboard at Larks Park reads 1-1 counts. Dreiling, nice pitch. It just misses the inside part of the plate and gets some groans from the hometown fans. Count moves at 2-1. Halter sets up down the middle. This one goes above the letters, 3-1. Top of the 8th here in Hays, Kansas. 1 away, runner at second base. Tempo is slowed down, and the 3-1 will miss outside, and Dreiling will walk this guy. It's his 6th walk as a Lark on the mound, his first of the season. Davis aboard for the 3rd time today, all on walks. Go to Rocco Gump, who has reached 3 of the 4 in his plate appearances, but is 1 for 3. It's just one hit. It's a single, and he drove in a run. And Keith Harper, who's known Dylan Dreiling since he was in preschool, will come out and have a chat with his head coach's grandson. Two on with one away, and Dreiling will miss this zone here. Gump thugs out of the way of it, could have taken off his back and loaded the bases. Instead, he'll be working with a 1-0 counts. Defense straight up, but they could get an inning-ending double play. This one does catch the high inside corner as Halter slid to catch it. Nice pitch from Dreiling to respond after nearly hitting a guy. Larks have a righty up in the pen, as they have a southpaw on the mound right now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away. This delivery, an ugly swing and a miss from Gump. He'll be down the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The third baseman from Chandler, Arizona, will have to protect the plates. Gump batting .552 this season. Will strike out for just the second time all year. Actually, the third time he's already struck out in this game, and Dreiling gets his third strikeout of 2022. And there's 2 away. Do it for the Larks again, the bottom 3 of the order, looking to get something going. Only one of them has a hit, and it's Jeminian, but 2 of them, Lucart and Jeminian, have both scored. First delivery here to Gabe Ramos will be grounded to Tyler LaRue, who will fist bump Dylan Dreiling and head back to the dugout on the third base side. Dreiling works out of a jam after allowing a leadoff double and takes us to the bottom half of the 8th. Larks needing to rally. Larks could use some runs here in the bottom of the 8th. Braden Lucart will lead things off for him after the Cannons left a couple on in the top half of the inning. Lucart lines this one down the right field line, but it will be foul. It'll look to be a little bit later on this next swing with this count at 1-1. Larks went scoreless in the 7th inning. And only brought 3 to the plate after LaRue was hit by a pitch. Halter grounded into a double play, then Rawson flew out to end the inning. Scoreboard at Larks Park reads a 2-1 count to the right fielder from St. Joseph, Missouri. He's down by 1. They scored 5 runs between innings 4 through 6. They're looking for more here. This one misses outside. 3-1. Still Helmer on the mound for the Cannons. Face a minimum in the last inning. Hitters count here for Lucart. And this one will catch the inside part of the zone. For a call strike 2. Looked like it was going to miss inside, but didn't quite have the movement that it looked like it was going to have on it. Lucart will get a base hit here and maybe more as it's rolling in the outfield and left center field. He rounds for second, and he's going to have a leadoff stand-up double. Tying run at second base as he flexes for his dugouts. And he gets the Larks fans half-price beverages for the remainder of the 8th inning as the beverage batter getting his first hit of the ball game. Larks' first hit since the 6th inning. Lucart was hitless in his last game and gets himself in scoring position here on the payoff pitch. His first double of the season, just his 4th hit. And up to the plate is Ben Ferenzi, who was 0 for 2 today when he was hit by a pinch in the 4th inning. That one was a tempting one, but it did miss above the letters, 1-0. Gump and Ramos playing in the corners of the infield. As this one misses 2-0. Hayes down by 1. Go ahead run at the plate. Larks have run ruled 4 straight games. That is probably going to be a streak that's ended tonight. Frenzy takes this one at the letters. Didn't like the call. Nods his head, gets back in the right-hander's batter's box. Helmer set up to go from the windup, and now he sets up to go from the stretch. Frenzy shows bunt, pulls back as the pitch runs outside. And it'll be 3-1. Lucart at second, nobody out here in the bottom half of the 8th. Hayes down by 1. They haven't had any late game comebacks this season. They've only lost 2 games. Ferenzi hits one hard to down the left field line, but it'll be just a bit early, and it'll be a few feet foul of the line, and he wanted that one. So did the fans here at Larks Park. Larks have 10 hits. They've picked up just 1 walk, which is very uncharacteristic of the team. It was Lucart who walked in the 4th inning. Scored 6 runs, and they left 6 on. Hargraves moving close to second base to keep Lucart honest. The payoff pitch to Ferenzi. He will swing and miss on it and strike out for the 2nd time today, and he's upset with himself. But the Larks still have 2 outs to work with Lucart at second. And Jeminian coming to the bag, to the plate. He has reached 2 times today. He reached on an error in the 6th, singled in the 4th. He scored and driven in a run. Frank Leo shouts out something to Leo Jeminian at the plate, and we'll get his AB underway. Leo getting the start at the bottom of the order as the DH today, after in the last game starting in the outfield and leading off. This one kind of got away from Ray, but Lucart stays at second base. That hit from Lukart was his best of the year. He caught it on the barrel and took it to left center. Rolled close to the 349 sign, and Jeminian sends this one high to left field side. Sherrar and York move towards it. Sherrar will get under it. It'll dive for it at the last second, but he will make a play on it. Jeminian goes for 2, and they will hold Lukart at third base. So Larks are gifted there on an E7, and Jeminian reaches on the second air today. And now the scoreboard flashes hit, so what the heck, let's give it to him. Second double the inning. Lukart moves up to third base. Larks have 2 in scoring position with only 1 out, no double play on the table. Lukart not the fastest guy on the team at third base. Might take a little something semi-deep into the outfield to bring him home on a sac fly, as there's a huge group of Larks gathered in the bullpen. Keith Harper, one of them, watching the game and also watching, I think that's Kobe Grimsley, who's back warming up. Outside and low, 1-0 to Tanner Rice, who singled in the second inning, or excuse me, doubled in the first inning. Mixed up my numbers there and scored. But Simpson is 0 for 3. This one will miss low. 2 balls, no strikes. That double was Leo's second hit of the day. His hitting streak is at 4 games thanks to that single in the 4th inning. (2-0 home. Rice takes it opposite field, and it's going to be in a weird Bermuda triangle, and it will be caught by Gump in foul territory. So tough right there. Gump makes up from the previous error from Sherrar, and this can be a big at-bat for Austin Jaslov.
The shortstop, Austin Jaslov.
But if there's a guy you want at the plate, it's either Jaslov, Tarosian, or LaRue, and those are the 3 who are up next. As Jaslov is 2 for 4 today with a double and a single, and that double was well struck. After Rice pops out, can't leave. I mean, you can, but you don't want to leave 2 in scoring position here in the bottom of the 8th and go to the 9th still down by 1. Ray saves a run by dropping right and blocking that one. 1 ball, no strikes. Jemanian gets his lead at second. Lukart close to the bag at third base. Still be running on any contact. And Jaslov pops this one up over the grandstand, 1-1. So it's time to see who has the clutch gene for Hayes. Two away, 2 in scoring position for Jazz. And he hits one hard to the third baseman, Gump, who makes a nice play on it. Jaslov sprints down the first base line, and they will beat him by a step. What a nice couple of plays by Gump to get Rice out and now save a run. Man, what a heartbreaker, because that one was hit well off the bat of Jaslov, just right at Gump, and it'll end the 8th inning. Larks leave 2 in scoring position. They trail by 1 as we move to the 9th. Kobe Grimsley will take over on the bump for the 9th inning. Caleb Blasey will lead things off. He's walked a couple times today and hit a double and drove in a run. Grimsley's been so good for the Larks this year out of the pen. This will be appearance number 5 for him. He's only given up 1 earned run and was in the last game against the Rough Riders where he picked up his first win of the season, going 5 innings in the start. Gave up 4 hits, and earned a run, and struck out 1, no walks. ERA at 1.08 on the year. He struck out 3 guys through 8 1/3, but only walked 3 as well. 1-2 count here to Blasey, looking for his first hit since the 5th inning. Grimsley, a 6'1" righty sophomore out of Central Oklahoma for the Broncos. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Grimsley, pitcher number 6 today for the Larks, who you would think we were trying to save some arms and have them ready to go for the Liberal series, but they kind of saves the best arms for Liberal. No throwing Meredith or Terbeek, Marshall or Parker. And that was intentional. Not that any of these guys are bad. They want to make sure they had those 4 arms for the next 2 games. Scored at Larks Park reads a 3-2 counts for Blasey, with Ray on deck and Hargraves in the hole. Payoff pitch from Grimsley will be called strike 3. How about that with Grimsley? 1 batter face, and he picks up strikeout number 4 of the season. So we'll go to Mason Ray, who is 0 for 3 today with a ground out, a fly out, a strikeout, and a sacrifice bunt. 1 away, bases empty, top of the 9th. Duel for the Larks, trying to extend the game or win it. Will be heart of the order of 3-4-5 hitters, and that is a very tough 3-4-5 to get through Terozzi and LaRue and Halter. 1-0 check swing, grounded over to the Cannons dugouts. 1-1. These 2 teams were in the KCOB together in 2019, the Larks' lone year in the league after the Jayhawk League broke up. Larks outscored them 25-1 over the course of the 2 games, winning on the 9th 13-1, the 10th 12-0. Last year, Larks beat them 8-7 here at home, and then 15-11 on the road. Halter going to go out and chat with Kobe Grimsley with a 1-1 count and 1 away. So Halter goes back behind the dish, and we'll continue the 9th inning. Grimsley this year for the Broncos made 12 appearances, winning 1 game, striking out 21 through 18 2/3. Sets up, goes from the stretch. A really late swing on a slow swing from Ray, sends the ball over to the Cannons dugout again. He'll be down the count 1-2. Oh, close pitch right there, and the crowd had the same reaction I did as it just missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Halter did not get the frame. This one will miss low and outside. 3-2. It's the 8th man in the order, the catcher who hasn't been on base today. Grimsley goes for the same area and misses outside, and after nearly getting a strikeout, will walk his first batter of the day, his 4th of the season. So the strikeout to walk ratio stays the same as he gets 1 of each in this inning after having 3 of each prior to this appearance. Time called by third base and head coach Phil Stevenson as Hargraves comes to the box. And we will get a courtesy runner for the catcher. It is Jet Hand out of Allen County Community College. He's a Jones, Oklahoma native. LaRue with his right foot on first base to be ready for a pickoff attempt. One away, runner at first. Grimsley looks over his shoulder a couple times, goes home. A nice heater, gets a swing and a miss. That pitch had some velo on it. PBR clocked his max fastball a while ago at 89 miles an hour. And his exit velocity at the plate at 105. Exit velocity won't help him on the mound here today, but this second fastball gets a late swing out of Hargraves, and over into the fan pavilion goes the ball. 0-2 at the count. Kobe Grimsley appeared at 25 games for the Murray State Aggies before going to Central Oklahoma, winning a pair of games and striking out 46 through 35 and 2/3. A 1-2 count here to the second baseman, who has a couple of hits today and a couple of strikeouts. He wants to get his third hit. Grimsley wants to give him the hat trick. Miss here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Grimsley had a 1-2 count on the last guy and then walked him, and doesn't want to do the same as the count moves to 2-2. Ground ball to the right side of the mound. He will get it, and then soft toss it to Tyler LaRue at first base after initially trying to tag the runner. Realized he wouldn't get it, but a runner moves into scoring position. That is Hand at second base. Drake Andron to the box now, and I know he wants this one. He's going up against his former team, and he's reached twice today. On a walk and a single, he scored twice. It's a call strike here, 0-1. This is plate appearance number 6 for Andron today. He's grounded out to LaRue in the third, popped out to Terosian in the second, and will line out to LaRue to end the top of the ninth and finish his day 1 for 4. To the bottom half of the ninth we go. Larks trail by 1, and we'll talk about what happened last year when the Larks went to the bottom of the ninth in a close game against the Cannons when we come back.
You're tuned in to the Larks Network.
Bottom of the ninth, let's take a look at what happened the last time we went to the bottom of the ninth at Larks Park against the Kansas Cannons. This is last year. It's delivered to Schmidt, hit hard to left field. Could it be a walk-off home run? It's going to be at the fence. And it won't be caught by Shively, and it's a walk-off home run for Grant Schmidt. You can't write it better than that. The Larks win 8-7 off the bat at Grant Schmidt. Man, the first batter of the ninth, and he sends it to field and gives the Larks the win, and the Larks are going to celebrate. 1 year later, we're at Larks Park. Larks down by 1 at the bottom of the ninth. Jack Terosian will lead things off for the hometown team, and he is due for a hit. I mean, this guy never goes 0 for, and he's 0 for 4 today with the strikeouts in innings 1 and 5, and a ground out and a flyout. 1-0 count to the guy who gets on base in over 50% of his at-bats. New pitcher of the game is Jake Schultz. He's a Towanda, Kansas native, went to Circle High School and is at Butler Community College. The 6'4 righty misses inside 2-0 to another JUCO guy out of the KJCCC. It's Terosian out of Hutchinson Community College. Schultz this year at Butler for the Grizzlies, 8 appearances, all in relief, went 1-0. 8 2/3, struck out 8, but had 12 earned runs, making his ERA at 12.46. Ray stands up behind the plate, dishes some signs out to his infield. Chaslov sends a heater off the inside part of his bat, 2-2. Schultz this year at the Cannons, 1-0. Has appeared in 4 games, all in relief. He's thrown 8 1/3. No runs, striking out 9, giving up 2 walks and 3 hits. Two, and Terosian will take one at the letters and strike out for the 3rd time today, this time looking, and it gets a loud ground from the hometown fans. They didn't like the call. Terosian goes back to the dugout without an argument. Larks down to their final 2 outs. It's weird to be on this side of things. Larks have really dominated as of late. But this time they're on the other side of things. It's been the first game that I've felt like tension in the air. It's been the closest game this season, and some nerves at the park as LaRue sends one to the backstop, 0-1. LaRue is reaching every plate appearance today. 3 for 3 with a double, a home run, a single, and a hit by pitch. How great would it be if he could round out the cycle with a triple here? Or why not just get a second home run? Back in inning number 1, he put his hitting streak at a team-leading 12 games. Takes this one out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. LaRue out of the Southland Conference, the 6'2 junior. Picked up 23 hits for Houston Baptist this year. The year before at Grayson, he picked up 6 hits. And at Rice in 2020, his freshman year, he picked up 3 hits. He would like to get 1 hit right here in Hayes. He won't get on this one as Schultz strikes out back-to-back. There is 2 away with the bases empty. Out of Jackson Halter, who is 0 for 4 today as well. Larks will head to Liberal tomorrow to take on the BJs, game 1 of 2. It's a non-league game, so this won't shake up the standings for either team in their respective conferences, but both teams want to win it pretty badly. Speed to Halter outside, 1-0. Schultz has a smile at the call. Time is called, and Halter get back in the left box. 1 ball, no strike to tonight's catcher, and he sends it a mile high over to the right side. Hargraves retreats into the outfield and will get out 3 right there, and the Larks will lose for the first time in a couple weeks. An 8-game win streak is snapped. They have still won 11 of their last 13, and their 4 straight run rules will be snapped as well. 12-3 on the season. They're 8-1 in league play. They're still in first place, a half game up over Liberal. Cannon's now 10-5 overall. They're still first in the KCLB, a half game up over the Kansas Curve. So if you want to keep that first place in the RMBL, you got to win tomorrow against the team in second place, just a half game back, the Liberal BJs. Big game tomorrow for the Hayes Larks, as Drake Andron and Frank Leal will reunite after the game, after they were a part of the Larks together in 2019. That was a cool moment right there, but let's focus on tomorrow. Larks need to get a win tomorrow against the BJs, and the BJs need to get a win against the Larks. So catch it right here on Larks Network. First pitch at 7 p.m. We'll be there, and it'll be me on the call again. This has been Carson Ackerman for Larks Network. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good night. We will see you tomorrow.